guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, I am going to be answering the question, should you be panic selling Bitcoin? The last 2 days, we have seen the largest dollar value drop in the history of the cryptocurrency market. We've pulled back over $10,000 from a new all-time high we set 2 days ago at $58,000. At the time of recording this video, we are trading at $48,000. This has been the largest, fastest correction we have seen in a long time on Bitcoin, and rightfully so. A lot of people are very concerned about what happens next in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market. So in this video, if you're considering leaving Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I want you to watch this video first. If you enjoyed today's video, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. But without much further ado, guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Before we dive further into the video, guys, we need to talk about CT2A, the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and it has everything you need to know in regards to technical analysis. The purpose of CT2A is to help educate people. So if you guys are looking to make an investment in yourself and want to learn more about the cryptocurrency world and prepare yourself properly before you begin trading big time, enroll in CT2A below. I want to make the point of this video very clear. I want to assuage any fear that you have over this $13,000 drop on Bitcoin. Yes, it's true that this is the largest dollar value drop that Bitcoin has ever seen, but that does not mean that we should head for the hills. That does not mean that we should freak out, and it does not mean that we should panic sell. Let's start with some technical analysis, and then there's a few things I want to tell you. The very first thing we must do is we must look at this market in context. The last 2 days have seen major corrections. Yesterday, we saw a negative 6% correction, and today on Candle Body, we saw a negative 10% correction. We saw a bearish engulfing candlestick right here, and we saw an even bigger red candlestick following. Notice this discolored uptrend right here. This is the uptrend that we talked about Bitcoin getting support on in yesterday's video. We bounced at this level at the convergence of support of around $52,000, but earlier this morning we actually broke below that. We fell below all of the support levels that we discussed on this channel, pulling all the way back to our new bottom of $45,000. Drawing a support level right there, we can see that Bitcoin has pulled back to this level before, and we've even used it as resistance twice in the past. Another thing to take into account with $40,000 is it's halfway between $40,000 and $50,000. That makes it a mass psychological level of support that people would be buying at. Following the correction down to $45,000, we have now bounced all the way to where we're trading at the time of recording this video at $49,000 and change. So the question now becomes, what do we do with this technical analysis? What do we do with this correction on Bitcoin, and how should we respond to a massive correction like this? Should we freak out? Should we panic sell? Should we leave cryptocurrency? The answer is categorically no, and I'll tell you why. In fact, instead of telling you, I'm going to ask you a question. What has fundamentally changed in the last 2 days on Bitcoin? Yes, Bitcoin is down $10,000 from its all-time high, but what has actually changed? What major bearish news has happened? Has some major country or some major company come out against Bitcoin? Has there been a ban of Bitcoin in the European Union or in the United States? Has there been a mass exodus of traders and investors from the market? Nothing fundamentally has changed. Remember, guys, the price is downstream from the fundamentals. The fundamentals tell the price what to do, not the other way around. Because the price pulled back $10,000 does not mean anything has changed fundamentally speaking. So with that in mind, there are 3 points I want to make. Number one, if you are concerned about this market, it probably means that you have broken something called the golden rule of trading and investing. That golden rule goes like this: you must never invest more than you're willing to lose. There's an analogy that I've used for years to explain this. I want you to picture how much money you've invested in Bitcoin. Whatever the number is, conjure it up in your mind. Now, I want you to imagine that you pulled that much out in US dollars, you put it in a pile in the backyard, you doused it in kerosene, and you lit it on fire. Would you still be able to pay your bills? Would you still be able to retire at 65 or whenever you want to retire? Would you still be able to pay off your student loans? Would you still be able to pay for your house? Would you still be able to put food on the table? If the answer is yes, after you burned all of that money, which, by the way, please don't actually burn the money, hypothetically speaking, if you were to burn all of that money, are you still capable of meeting your needs? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, you haven't invested too much. In fact, my second point is this: if you're getting very emotional about the market, if you're getting very emotional about Bitcoin pulling back, it is probably indicative that you've invested too much, because if you could afford to lose the money that you have in the market, you probably wouldn't be too emotional about it. You might not like Bitcoin correcting. Nobody likes seeing their net worth go down, but you wouldn't be freaking out about it. I don't say this to attack you, by the way, if you've invested too much. I want to make sure you guys understand that I am not saying, oh my gosh, you invested too much, haha, you're screwed. I'm not trying to attack you. In fact, I'm trying to help you. If you've made the mistake of investing too much in Bitcoin, now might be your chance to take some profits, because to be honest with you, a lot of people are worried about this correction, but guess what? Bitcoin is trading at right now, after this massive correction, what all-time high was 2 weeks ago. So you're probably still in profit even if you are further down than you were 2 days ago. If you're considering leaving Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, I want you to remember the things I say in this video. Number one, what has fundamentally changed on Bitcoin in the last 2 days, and what has fundamentally changed on Bitcoin in the last 12 months. In the last 12 months, the fundamentals for Bitcoin have gotten stronger than ever. We have been talking about them day in and day out on this channel for years now. Nothing major has happened in the last 2 days. Let me tell you what's happened in the last 2 days. Janet Yellen has come out saying bad things about Bitcoin. Kraken had a scam wick and some people got messed up. Those are not fundamental developments that warrant a $10,000 correction. You know why we corrected $10,000? Because Bitcoin was overextended and we never should have gone to $58,000 in the first place that quickly. There's a reason why I'm very conservative with my price targets on Bitcoin, guys. There's a reason why I said we might go to $75,000 by the end of August and not $250,000 by the end of August, because I don't like putting massive price targets that you guys are going to get really hyped up about and throw all of your money into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and break the golden rule. It is our mission on this channel to provide you financial freedom and the tools to get there. So it's not in my best interest to pursue that goal to get you hyped up about a price target that I don't believe in. There's a reason I've been saying for the last several months that Bitcoin needs a correction. And now that it's coming, we have to understand that markets are cyclical. This was bound to happen. It happens throughout the history of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I've been in this market for over 3 years. I've seen it happen dozens of times. It's nothing to be concerned about. It is simply the way the market works. Every market goes up, every market goes down. When we say markets are cyclical, that's what we mean. Sometimes the market's going to be bullish, sometimes it's going to be bearish. Again, like the analogy I made in yesterday's live stream, if you look at this market like a war between the bulls and the bears, the bulls are winning this war. We're in a bull market. Will the bears win a battle every once in a while? Yes. The losing side of a war will win a battle every once in a while, but that doesn't mean the losing side wins the war. It just means they won a battle. One thing I want you guys to keep in mind is that when markets rally very quickly, there's potential that that market is going to correct very quickly. Why? Because we didn't build a lot of support on the way up. The same thing's true when a market pulls back very quickly. It might bounce very quickly because there's a lot of volatility in the market and we set a strong support level. But what we want to see is that slow, gradual, continual growth over the course of months and years. That is fundamental development of the price action. That is building long-term support into the market that we can use to continue moving the price higher. The good news is that's what we're seeing, guys. At the end of the day, Bitcoin has pulled back to its all-time high that it set 14 days ago. This is actually a good thing because what it's doing is it is locking in support levels that we can use in the future if we ever have a correction like this again. Is Bitcoin going to correct farther? Maybe. In fact, in today's live stream, I talked about why I think Bitcoin might actually be going down to $42,000. But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin's moving into a massive bear market. That does not mean that the end of Bitcoin is here. That does not mean that you should panic sell. And by the way, that leads me into my final point. And that is, if you don't sell, you haven't profited or lost. In investing, there's a concept called realization. That is when you exit an investment and return to the fiat currency you operate in. So for example, if you sell Apple stock, you are realizing a profit or a loss when you sell it into US dollars. You might have realized a $200 gain, or you might have realized a $75 loss. You realized it because you converted your investment back into the currency that you operate in natively. So long as you're in Bitcoin and you have not realized that profit or loss, you haven't actually made or lost money. All the money that you've made on paper on Bitcoin over the last 6 months, you haven't realized. You haven't actually made that money because it's sitting in Bitcoin as an investment if that's the way you're operating. If Bitcoin's your native currency, then it's a little bit different, but most of us still use the US dollar or some other fiat currency as our native currency we do day-to-day operations in. Until you sell your Bitcoin, you have not realized a loss or a gain. So I don't want you guys getting freaked out about watching your numbers go down and your net worth go down because your Bitcoin is losing money. It's the same thing as if you were to buy a house in 2004 and then you sell the house in 2020, you're going to make money on that house. But guess what? In 2008, when the financial crisis happened, you might have lost half of your money on the value of that home. But it didn't matter because you didn't sell your home. You don't actually make or lose money until you realize the loss or the profit. So I want you guys to understand that just because Bitcoin's down $10,000 doesn't actually mean you've lost money unless you sold. If you sold, then you realized it, but I'm not talking to that crowd right now. Anyway, guys, the point of this video was to curtail some of the FUD because I know a lot of people are very concerned right now, especially if you were newer to the market. I want you to tell us if you were newer to cryptocurrency. Have you been here for less than 6 months? Tell us in the comment section down below. And if you have any concerns, I would love to assuage them because at the end of the day, cryptocurrency is a very fast-growing market, and someone once said, a fad never lasts 12 years. Well, Bitcoin's been around for over a decade now, and it's not a fad, guys. It is the future of hedging against traditional currencies like the US dollar. The reason people invest in gold, the reason gold is a $10 trillion market is because it is non-inflationary the way US dollars are. 40% of US dollars in existence were printed last year, and that is a terrible thing for people that use US dollars as their native currency. Bitcoin has a use case, its fundamentals are growing, and we have every reason to be excited about it. If you enjoyed today's video, consider hitting that like button. It's totally free. And if you dislike the video, make sure to hit the dislike button twice so we know you really hated it. And if you really, really hate the channel, make sure to subscribe so you can release all of your hatred onto me and you don't release it on any of the other crypto YouTubers. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it out for today's video. Before I go, though, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.